Here's a version of the Easter story, and it starts on Palm Sunday, which is today, when Jesus rides into Jerusalem. Everyone came out to cheer and wave when Jesus went with his friends to Jerusalem. They loved Jesus and the stories he told about how much God loved them. Jesus had also healed people who were ill. The blind could see, the deaf could hear, and people could walk again. "Hooray for Jesus," they shouted. "Jesus is our King." They waved palm branches and they spread their cloaks on the ground for the donkey to walk on. But not everyone was happy. The religious leaders were enemies of Jesus, plotting against him. Can you see the religious leaders in the picture? It was nearly time for the Passover feast. Jesus and his friends met in an upstairs room to have supper together. But first, Jesus took a towel and a bowl of water and began to wash the hot, dusty feet of all his friends. Peter tried to stop him. Surely Jesus was his master, not his servant. But Jesus wanted to teach his friends to take care of each other. "Love one another as I have loved you," said Jesus. "Then everyone will know you are my friends." When they sat down to eat supper together, Jesus was thoughtful. He shared some bread with his friends. "This is my body broken for you," he said. Then Jesus shared with them a cup of red wine. "This is my blood shed for you." Judas Iscariot left the room. He went to tell Jesus' enemies where they could arrest him for 30 silver coins. That night, Jesus went with his friends to a garden of olive trees. He asked his friends to watch and pray with him. Then Jesus prayed to God, his Father. "Help me to do the right thing and be brave," he asked God. When Jesus went back to his friends, they were not keeping watch. They were tired and had fallen asleep. But now it was too late. Judas was coming through the trees with a group of men, armed with swords and clubs. They arrested Jesus and marched him away. Jesus was taken to court and judged by Pontius Pilate, the Roman leader. Pontius Pilate could see that Jesus was an innocent man, but he sent Jesus away to be beaten to please the religious leaders. The soldiers put a crown of thorns on the head of Jesus and made him carry his cross to a hill outside Jerusalem. There he was nailed to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus cried out. "They don't know what they're doing." Jesus died that day between two thieves, while his mother Mary wept for him. Jesus' friends were shocked and frightened. How could this happen? Then Jesus was taken and buried in the tomb. And that is where we leave the story today, and it will continue next week. Hi everyone, just a week to go till Easter now, and I guess most of you, had you been at school, would have finished it for Easter this weekend. So we're going to be thinking a little bit about Easter coming up today, and I have 2 questions for you. First one is a why question, and after that we're going to have a can you question. We're going to leave this for a bit later, the can you question, and we're going to start off by thinking, why eggs at all? What do you think? Why do you think we have Easter eggs? Now, I know most of you are probably going to say, because they're made of chocolate and they're good to eat, which is true. And that's a good way of celebrating Easter. You're right. Now, I think you will all recognise this. Yes? That's right, it's a hen's egg. Now, if you just saw this and you know, perhaps hadn't seen it before, maybe you came from a place where they don't have hens. I've already given it away now. Yes, because out of this egg eventually, hold it the right way up, you get a hen. And a hen lays more eggs. And you think of all the things that you eat with eggs in, right? So they're quite important to us. And just to give you the idea, there you go. This little chicken is already inside, and it grows and grows till one day it pecks its way out of the egg. And then it grows eventually to become a chicken. So, although this egg outside, it looks dead, dull, nothing happening, one day we know the little chicken's going to come out. So inside this egg is packed with new life. And so that helps us and reminds us about Jesus when he was put in the tomb. Do you remember Dave told the story a couple of weeks ago how Jesus was put to death, he was buried in the tomb, that's like a cave. They roll a big stone over the entrance to the cave, and that's to stop the thieves coming on, keep the bodies all safe. Anyway, if you remember in the story, they went to look at the tomb and they found that the stone had rolled away and there was no body inside. It was empty. And that's because Jesus is risen. He was risen then and he's still alive today, we believe, as Christians. So, I have some other eggs to show you. Now, some of you may have seen these in a pond. And so, have a look at these. These are slightly different, a lot smaller. What creature do you think is going to come out of these eggs? It's going to be a water or pond creature. And had it been a bit earlier in the year, I was hoping to have some of those eggs alive rather than show you a picture. But because it's been such a mild weather, winter, those eggs have all hatched out. But I just happen to have some here from my friend's pond to show you. Any guesses for what these little creatures are? Look how they're racing around there. Yep, they're tadpoles. And don't worry, mums and dads, they're going back to my friend's pond. So, in case any of you are still wondering what those creatures are, that will give you a clue. So, that's why we are celebrating Easter by sharing eggs. And I hope you'll all have some really nice chocolate eggs coming your way next week. So now we come to our Can You challenge. I want to challenge you to see if you could make at least one Easter card to send to somebody you know, maybe a grandparent who's missing you, or a friend, maybe a friend in the church family who you know is on their own. Mum and Dad could help you find their address and you could even mail it or take it round to them. So some ideas to put on your card would be an Easter egg. Now I just did this one very quickly earlier. You can use just a piece of A4 paper. Most families will have these at home for printing from the computer. So just fold it in half, and to make your egg shape on the front, you can just use the lid of a jar. Just put the circular thing at the bottom, like that, and then maybe a smaller circular thing at the top like that, and then you just join the sides up to make the egg shape. So if you want to be a little bit more creative, you could put some hearts on. You could put a background of, you know, maybe some chickens coming out of the egg, and a ribbon. If you've got a ribbon, you could actually tie a real ribbon round. If you've got some silver foil, you could cut some shapes and put that on. I'm sure you've got ideas yourself. And then if spots and stripes are always very good for decorating, hearts, things like that. And if you wanted to do a little chicken coming out of the egg, like here, once you've got your egg on, don't do it on the actual egg in case you don't do it quite right first time. You can just cut a little shape like that out, or cut a chicken. Look on the internet for pictures. I suppose you could even cut one out from the internet if you wanted to. Anyway, the last thing, well, next to last thing, is if you wanted a little activity, you can use an egg on a spoon. Make sure it's hard boiled though. This one isn't, so I'm just going to take it off for now. And the last thing, maybe if you like decorating things and you have a bit more patience, let's put that down for a minute, you could actually decorate the outside of your egg. So we could do a little heart on there, maybe some flowers. Yeah, I think I'll leave that to you. If you decorate eggs or you do a really nice card, ask your mum or dad to take a photo. You could even put it on Beacon Essentials to cheer us all up. So, wishing you all a really good Easter, and look after yourselves. Be good for mum and dad. Bye for now.